Have you ever used the Ozone Master Assistant?
No, don't know what that is.
I think Mac asked this question. I think it's the thing that allows you to basically, Ozone will do its AI sort of replication. You give it a reference track. I think you can probably do it another way too, but you can give it a reference track and it will essentially try to match the EQ and loudness of the track. It always creates, I've done it a few times just to like see what it does, and it always makes it sound insane. But there's something interesting to learn from it sometimes, I find.
So like, okay,
Go.
I want my mix to sound like Hurricane. Don't know why I would say that, but say I did. I am then going to input that EQ curve and mastering curve on like the Without You mix for Kid Laroi.
Yeah.
That's what it would do. Like I'm going to take an acoustic mix and then I'm going to take Hurricane and I'm going to make it. Now Kid Laroi sounds like The Weeknd. It's like a crazy thought.
Well, see, that's vocally, why I think that's actually where I think it's interesting. I mean, this is, coming from more producer standpoint. It's like when I'm doing a rough mix of something and then it's almost like, let me just match this like weird acoustic thing to a BTS song and see what craziness happens to it. It's almost like let's see what it does as a creative tool. I think trying to make your mix, try to AI your mix mastering into somebody else's mix, it's not going to get you the result that you want, but it might. But there might be interesting things that it does that teach you. I mean, again, it's like when people started using autotune, it's like, oh, we don't want anybody to know. Let's subtly change the pitch of these. And then at some point, somebody turned it up to retune speed 0, and they were like, what a cool, interesting thing. So I think there's all of these things can be used as tools. I think in terms of getting your mix loud and mastered nicely, I don't think Master Assistant is going to solve that for you.
What if we found out that Serban's secret? I think I figured it out just now.
What is it?
Is he matches every mix to his Teenage Dream mix.
That's a good mix.
And it's a great mix. And it just works. Like imagine that actually was his thing. We're like, whoa. And he mixes every song in 10 minutes and it just sounds like magic because AI is that crazy. I don't disagree that this is like potentially the future, but if I break that down, I can imagine what it looks like. I've seen EQ matching before. I've done that with Ozone on like a bass sound versus a kick, so you can see where the kick and bass are elementing, and then you can reduce and boost in the same. I never do that in mixes, but I've done it just to learn the tool.
They're good teaching tools for sure.
Yeah, I understand that. Now you can just look at Pro Q3, open up both, and you can just visualize it, whatever. But what I'm visualizing is a bunch of EQ points that match and then cause phase, right? So when you're getting these crossover points, you're starting to lose punch because you're reducing in the same place that you're boosting to like remake a sound. And I think there's a lot more harm that could be caused by doing something like that than gained. But I'm trying to see it from your vantage point, which is, okay, well, what is it showing? What is my mix lacking compared to that? Now, is it an arrangement thing? Do we need to go back to the production?
Or that's what I do almost every time I use it.
Do I do that to the synths only and then make the synths like nail it at 5K? It's like, wow, that sounds like this record now. I thought I was, needed to be warm, but actually it should be more like this reference point. Then you get into the conversation with that it's so much different than the rough, but we were going for that anyway. Like you can go both ways, but I do like that tool. I should look into it.
Yeah. And what you also realize, when that feature first came out, I was mixing something and I was like, let me just see what happens with 3 different songs. And they did 3 drastically different things because all songs and mixes sound pretty different. So it's not like all of a sudden it's going to be like, it's going to have the brightness and loudness and clarity and low end of what mixes should sound like, because as we've talked about many times, there's a wide range of what you can do with mixes, but it is very interesting.
Just going to EQ match Teenage Dream on everything and see what happens.
I'm going to start doing that. I think I have an MP3. The other thing too is you have to have an MP3 or a WAV file or something to reference against if you're using a reference track.
Oh,
and
man,
since everything's
MP3
streaming,
only.
I have to go.
There'll just be a bunch of aliasing up top that just like makes everything want 20 dB more 12K. Oh my God, this is incredible. This is what people are doing. I love it.
It doesn't have to be MP3. It has to be an audio file. I don't know, is that MP3? But because everything's streaming, you can't like run Spotify into it. So you actually have to purchase an audio file or go into your hard drive and have an actual file.
I love aliasing. The sound of SoundCloud.
Thanks for watching. Just a reminder, all of this content is free. There's no secret knowledge here. There's no Patreon. We don't read ads. We don't have sponsors. We're just trying to build a knowledge base. All that we ask in return is that you share it with somebody. Thanks so much.